Welcome to the Lechtich Parsha podcast, where we delve into the Torah's timeless wisdom and uncover uplifting and empowering lessons tailored to the challenges of our generation.
Good to Shabbos, Parshas Bechukosai Tavshin Pei Daled. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a wonderful week. This week's shir is sponsored by the Umansky family of Wesley Hills, New York. The Ilui Nishmas, Shmuel ben Shalom, and Simcha bas Yosef, Allah Shalom. May their neshamas have an aliyah. May they be a militz yesher. Thank you to our corporate sponsors, Meridian Senior Health, Bluestone Brokerage, and the Haas and Zaltz Law Firm. For future dedications, to sponsor the weekly publication and podcast, please reach out to 845-367-2959. A for effort is a thing of the past. It was a nice column on our report cards where it said effort, and it was nice if you got an A. But at the end of the day, we knew our parents would be looking at the grade, at the actual execution. I forgot what that box was called, and I don't have a report card with me, but it was the other box, which really mattered. And as we get older, we realize that the other box, the one not for effort, in the world we live in, is the one that really counts. We call that production. We call that the Payal Yoitze, the outcome. We call it execution. There are many names for it. It means the Lamaisa. It means Tachlis. It means did you produce or did you not produce? And while there is definitely something important and vital to that philosophy and to executing as such, either we have a job, we don't have a job. We are learning, we're not learning. We are doing Avodas Hashem, we are not doing Avodas Hashem. We are bringing home money for Parnasa to pay the bills, we're not paying the bills. At the same time, there's a very strong, thick line between those types of accomplishments and the accomplishments in our Avodas Hashem, in our learning of Torah, in our mitzvahs. And that message is this week's parsha. The opening pasuk of this week's parsha, the Torah says, "In Bechukosai Tolkhu, ves mitzvosai tishmeru, va'asisem oisam." If you will follow my laws and faithfully observe my commandments and perform them, then the pasuk goes on to give tremendous bracha. Benesatis kishmeichem, etc., etc. I'll give my rain, I'll give my bracha, my parnasa. But Rashi quotes a very famous medrash, the Sifra, which says, "In Bechukosai Tolkhu, yachol zakiyam mitzvos." You would think this is the actual execution, the actual fulfillment of performing the mitzvahs. Kishahu omer ve'es mitzvosai tishmeru v'asisem oisam, harei kiyama mitzvos omer. We already know this, the actual performance of mitzvahs. Ha'mani mekaymes im b'chukosai tolkhu. How do we fulfill if you go in my way? Zok the Sifra, shetiu amilim b'Torah. The very famous words of the Sifra, that the Torah, when it's telling us in b'chukosai tolkhu, which one would think means if you go in my ways, if you perform, if you execute, if you come with production of mitzvahs, of Torah, of Avodas Hashem, then I'm going to give you my bracha. But says Rashi, says the Sifra, that's not the pshat. That is a mistake. Rather, the Torah is telling us, Shatu amelim b'Torah. And amelim b'Torah doesn't mean finishing Shas and Poskim. It means amel. It means toiling in Torah. Echoing this concept, the Gemara in Brachos, Daf Chav Chesam Abeis, says that when one leaves the Beis Medrash, he should say the following tefillah: Thank you, Hashem, that you put me amongst the people that sit in the Beis Medrash. You didn't put me amongst the people that are sitting in the corners, battling away, talking about nothing. I get up early and they get up early. I get up and learn Torah. They get up and they are involved with Divrei B'Telem, with Sichas Chulin, with words of nothing, of futility. Continues the Gemara, Ani Omel v'heim amelim. I toil and they toil. However, Ani Omel mekabel schar. I toil and receive reward. V'heim amelim v'einum mekablim schar. They toil and they do not receive reward. So we see from this Gemara, the Gemara in Brachos, that for the toil, for the amelis itself, we get schar. Asks the Chafetz Chaim, the very obvious, glaring kasha. He doesn't understand. L'chayra, the carpenter, does get schar. He does get reward for the toiling. He goes out, he's busy cutting wood. He gets schar for that. The shoemaker, he fixes shoes, he puts on those taps. He fixes the leather, he repairs the rip. He's toiling, he gets paid for that. The builder, he has workers, he builds a house, he produces, he toils for months, if not years these days, could be a decade. He gets schar for that amelis. Boy, does he get schar. So, fragt the Chafetz Chaim, what does it mean? Pashup Shad in the Gemara that they don't get schar for the amelis. L'chayra, they do very much get schar for the toil. So how do we understand the Gemara that tells us that it's only the oiskim b'Torah, the lem de Torah, that are getting schar for the amelis? The Chafetz Chaim answers based on a beautiful story. There was a shoemaker in the town of Radin that everyone used to go to him. And as he got older, he started to get frail and blind, and he couldn't hit those nails anymore. His arms got weak, got ulcers. He was very, very schwach, starting to shrivel away. But people faithfully continued to go to him. He was the only shoemaker in town. And as time went on and the time was taking longer, he had no choice but to up the prices. And Vahiyah Yoyim, the day came, another man saw what was going on in town, saw that it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair that the shoemaker, he had a monopoly on the entire city, and he was charging extra just because he was getting older. And he said, it's not fair. He said, I'm going to come, I'll be the fresh shoemaker. I'm going to lower the prices. I'll do the work 4 times as fast. I'll charge a quarter of the price. And everyone's going to be happy, besides the shoemaker. He opened up shop. Everyone was so excited. There was a new shoemaker in town. The faithful, Yirei Kim, the people that worried about the plight of their friend, about this old shoemaker, they came to the Chafetz Chaim and they said, Rebbe, what should we do? On the one hand, we want to continue going to the old shoemaker. We want to give him parnasa. We feel so bad. The new shoemaker opened up in town and he's going to knock him out off his feet. And this old, sick, frail man is not going to have any parnasa. How's he going to sustain himself? But at the same time, it's not fair, they complained. We give our shoes to the shoemaker in El, and we don't get them back until Chanukah. And he's charging so much more. While the other new shoemaker, we give them Tim on one day, and it's ready the next day, and it's a quarter of the price. Rebbe, what do we do? And the Chafetz Chaim replied, Medina, according to the letter of the law, you have no chiyuv to go to the old shoemaker. He said the reason is because a shoemaker is meant to produce. A shoemaker is meant to return. A shoemaker is meant to do his job and give you back the product that you're waiting for. So said the Chafetz Chaim, it would be a tremendous mitzvah to still go to that shoemaker, and you can even use your tzedakah money, your meiser money, because you're not mechuyev, you're not obligated to go to that shoemaker, and you're doing it b'teres chesed. But he said the nature of a shoemaker is to produce, is peiros. It's to give you the final product. And if he's not doing that, if he's falling short of the essence of a shoemaker, what a shoemaker is supposed to do, you're not mechuyev to go to the shoemaker anymore. And therefore, you can go to the new shoemaker that opened up in town. Said the Chafetz Chaim, answering the kasha on the Gemara, how could it be that only the Omlei Torah, the people that are toil in Torah, they're the ones that get schar for their amelos? The carpenter, the shoemaker also gets schar. Said the Chafetz Chaim, we see from the story it's not so. The shoemaker, the carpenter, the builder, they get paid for toiling, but only within reason. Only as long as they're fulfilling and they're producing what they're meant to produce at the right time, at the right rate, at the right pace. But once things go haywire and it's not within the framework of normalcy, there's no more chiv anymore. And that toil, that extra melos, you don't get paid for. It's not part of the cheshbon. We're not even mechuyev to use that shoemaker. Said the Chafetz Chaim, but in Torah, in Avodas Hashem, that's what it's all about. The Torah is telling us, in Bechukosai Tolekhu, it's all about the melos, and you could be Amma all day. And while it's gewaldic and amazing and praiseworthy to come out with Paris, to know Shas, to be a Baki, to know Halacha, to know Torah, Nach, whatever it is that you're learning, Mishnah Bura, at the end of the day, if you're toiling, if it's hard for you to understand, it's not going in, you're tired, and you're trying to fight the Tzahara, you're trying to stay up. If you're not understanding and you try again and again and again, 100, 200 times, there's tzaddikim, there are gedolim that did this, and you keep on trying, keep going at it. The schar, as Avos the Vernasan says, is 100-fold. If a person's a little tired and they fight back, it's 100 times the schar. If a person's not interested, he'd rather go do X, Y, and Z, whatever that is, fill in the blank, and he says, I'm going to hunker down, I'm going to sit and dedicate myself, my time to Torah, to Avodah, it's 100-fold. The schar is so much greater. So that's the pshat of the Gemara, says the Chafetz Chaim. It's dafka, the Yeshve Beis HaMedrash, that they get schar on their amelos. While the carpenter and the builder and the shoemaker, of course they get schar, and they get paid for their toil. But it's only when it's within reason. But a yid, but a limit Torah, as long as he's toiling, it's not just schar for the toiling, and there's no limit. It's boundless, it's ceaseless. But it's 100-fold the harder it gets, which is the opposite, which makes no sense, which has no place in this world, in this gashmistic world, where you can't understand that. where it's a fish eat fish, dog eat dog type of world mentality. But in the Torah, it's about the amelis. It's about exerting, investing, and putting in our all for the sake of knowing Torah Hashem. As we go into the Yontif of Shavuos, and we're about to say, Nasa v'nishma, rise to the occasion. The Ashpais of Shavuos come back around, and we're going to say it. We have to ask ourselves, where are we holding? Are we committed to the Torah? Are we committed to giving up for the Torah? Are we committed to toiling in Torah? And if the answer is yes, then Ashreinu. And if the answer, Rahman al is no, then at least we have 2 weeks to remind ourselves of this side of Bechukosai Tolchu, v'nasati gishmeichem ba'aretz. We can apply ourselves, work on ourselves now, that when we come to Shavuos and we say those words of Nasa v'nishma, it's not just going to be some vague, forgotten words that were said thousands of years ago, but we're going to be able to say it with truth, with conviction, with certainty, and really live it, breathe it, feel it. Because if we realize the chashivas of amelis, we realize the chashivas of our own learning, of helping others learn, our husbands, our children, our fathers, whoever it may be, chavrusas, people that are struggling, and we're almost together, and we realize that there's a collective chiyuv of Mar B'Kavod Shamayim through Histakal B'Rais U'Bar Alma, that everything is the Torah. The Torah is the source, the blueprint of the entire world. That Amir Tzashem, we come to Shavuos with that recognition of applying ourselves, of realizing the chashivas of the amelis, of Shatiu Amelim B'Torah. Amir Tzashem, we should get there. We should get to Shavuos and say, Nasa v'nishma, and realize that all our efforts, not just the accomplishments, not just the paris, but the toiling, and the chashivas of toiling, is so coveted, beloved, and cherished by the Eibishter. When we're mechazik in this, we try to refocus and realize the importance of the chashivas of Torah and the amelis b'Torah. May Hashem have tremendous nachas ruach. May He redeem us from our foes. May He bring Yeshuas and Nechamas to all of Klal Yisrael. May He protect us. May He protect all of Klal Yisrael and bring the long-awaited Gula and the rebuilding of Bayis Shlishi with the bringing of Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mher v'meinu. Amen. I thank each and every one of you for listening. I wish you all a wonderful Shabbos.
I thank each and every one of you for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and I wish you a wonderful Shabbos.